You wouldn't have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones and
sound. This is the Talk Beat Jones, and I am Billy E. Jones. I'll do it again. This is the Talk Beat Jones, and I am Billy E. Jones. Bring me up more. And we're ready to go for you on the Talk Beat Jones. Family, we're on the air every Wednesday at 10 a.m. until 11 a.m. That's every Wednesday, and you can tune in live. And, of course, you can go to that YouTube TV 33 on demand, and you can watch us any particular time that you choose. And, of course, on a Sunday on 15.2. That's 15.2. You can watch us on Sunday from 4 to 5 p.m. The family, we ask that you let your friends know that you like the program, you want to share the program. Got a special guest today, and we're going to talk about the fashion show that has a specialty market that it's going to be reaching out to. So again, tell your friends right now, we want you to again watch the program and share the program and like the program. And again, every Wednesday from 10 a.m. until 11 a.m., you can let your friends know that we're here for you. And again, go to that YouTube TV 33 on demand, and you can again pick up the program any given time, 24 hours a day. Well, let's get together right about now, family. Let's bring on my guest. And my guest, how are you doing this morning? Okay, we're going to bring you up so we can hear you real good. I want you to speak real good in that microphone.
All right.
There you go. We got a little bit more to you. Try it again.
Okay, can you hear me?
There we go.
All
because
right.
we got people going around the world, and they want to know exactly who you are with that bell ringing out there. So Stephanie is your name, right?
Yes, yes.
Stephanie, and tell me the purpose of you being here on the Talk Beat Jones, and you're letting people know from around the world what's going on, but you want folks close to you to know closely where they're going to be able to attend your event. Is that right?
Yes.
But Stephanie, I call you Stephanie, but tell me, what did your friends and the people who love you, what do they call you?
I go by the Bag Lady. A lot of people know me as the Bag Lady as well as Stephanie. Yes.
That's the Bag Lady.
Yes.
Now,
correct.
what does that mean when they say that, call you a Bag Lady?
Well, it came from high school. I would wear different types of bags. I would be on trend. I would set a lot of trends, and it just kind of caught on. People would call me, "Hey, Bag Lady," or sometimes they would even call me Hollywood. And it just kind of stuck. And when I was actually branding myself, I said, you know what, the Bag Lady, that's kind of catchy. It's cool and it sounds good.
Yes,
so I just kind of stuck.
So what type of bags were you wearing?
I was just really wearing just trendy, unique type of bags, not necessarily high-end brands, but just eye-catching, so to speak, garments and bags.
Mm-hmm. Now, for us who don't quite understand, now are you using bags as a slang? Because when I see bags, we're not talking about paper bags and
No.
Are we talking special
We're talking
bags?
about handbags. Handbags, yes.
Yeah, so let's break it down for some folks who don't quite understand when you say the bags, that's the slang portion of it, I believe. Now, again, I'm struggling with that one myself. For us who don't understand bags, describe to me, if you grab a bag and you wore a bag. Oh, handbag.
Yes, a handbag.
Handbag.
Yeah, just a simple handbag.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
Because see, us, okay, got them hand. Now, what would be unique about the bags that you would be wearing?
They would just be stand out. It's I guess kind of flashy.
Okay.
Just anything that I gravitate to that's different. I used to wear, and people would see it and say, "Oh, I like that bag. You always have a different bag."
Okay.
So that's kind of how the name originated.
Now,
Yeah.
did you emulate someone that you knew, or was that something that just became your own situation, that you just loved the bags and just became fascinated with different bags?
Well, I've always been into fashion. Even as a small child, I
Come on
would
now.
wear my little bags and stuff that my
Okay.
mom would buy me from like Easter, and I would wear them into the year. And I've always been fashion forward, and it's just been something that's just a part of who I am.
Now, when you say fashion, tell me what catches your eye, and how did you start developing the fact that you wanted to do fashion shows? Give us a little history on that.
Okay, well, I got into fashion shows right before my 30th birthday. I was actually bedridden. I had sciatica, and I couldn't really walk. But like I said, I've always been into fashion, and I had a lot of time on my hands, and I said, you know what? I want to do a fashion show.
Okay.
I had actually never been to a fashion show before. I seen them maybe in movies, but I never been to one myself. And I said, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to host one. I'm going to produce a show. And I set my mind to it, and I produced my first show back in, 2018, 2019?
Okay. Okay.
Yep, so that's how I got into producing shows.
Now, how do you get your models, and what is your fashion show designed to appeal to?
Okay, now this specific fashion show is actually my second fashion show that I'm producing. I have another show called Rags to Riches, which we'll talk about another time. But
Okay.
this specific show is geared towards the plus size community. A lot of times when you attend fashion shows or you're a part of a fashion show, they're always catering to the size 0s and 2s and 4s, and never, a size 12. Like
Okay.
a size 12 is like was unheard of at one point in the fashion industry. However, the fashion industry is moving forward to where they are embracing larger sizes.
Right. Right.
Size 12 is still kind of like, hey, that's a little larger, but they are, doing size 6, size 8. In the fashion realm, size 8 is considered plus size.
Okay. What?
Yes.
Size 8?
Yes. Size 6, 8 is
now-
considered plus size.
Now, from a man perspective, size 12 is just nice built. I mean, put together.
Yeah.
So you're breaking it down to the understanding that when you go to a fashion show, the size of the ladies and men are going to be basically smaller size.
Correct. Generally
now,
speaking.
we know the population is not generally that size. Is that correct?
Not at all. The
So-
average size of a woman, I believe, is a size 14.
Okay. And so what do your size go from what size to what size?
So this show here, we're going to be showcasing models of a size 12 and larger.
12 and larger.
Yes. Yes.
Now, if I'm a size 20, would I be able to fit that
Yes.
into that category?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So is this something that is Lizzo, what is her name?
Lizzo.
Would she come and she say, I want that?
Yes, we would love to have Lizzo.
I mean, in terms of size-wise, good. So I want my audience to know that they can bring and they can be a part of from this size to that size and be able to see something that they want and know that the people that are modeling these particular fashions, they look like them.
Yes, absolutely. That
Okay.
is what we are pushing for. We want people to attend this show and see people that look like them.
Okay.
So, like I said, we start at size 12, but we have models that are a size 18, 20,
Come on now.
22.
Come on now.
So we have all of those size ranges, and on the 19th of next month, we will be showcasing that on a full scale spectrum, whatever you want to call it. Yes.
Now, what again is the date of this fashion show?
The date of the fashion show is Saturday, October 19th. It is the weekend of Sweetest Day.
Okay.
Yes.
Sweetest Day, huh?
Yes.
Okay. And where will the location be? Where's the
The
location?
location is located in Royal Oak at Gay Space Studios on Dakota Road. We have a website as well as IG and Facebook across all platforms. We are on there as a plus size only fashion show. If you look on Eventbrite, if you Google us, you go on Facebook, you go on IG, we're across the board as a plus size only fashion show.
Okay, we're going to come back and do that one more time. because I'm sure my family out there, some of them was not prepared to receive that information. So once again, I'm talking with Stephanie, but if you want to talk with her, you want to call her the bag lady. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Now, is there any way to contact you, or they strictly go to this information that you're going to give to our audience to tell them how to get to where the location is located, and how they can find out the information by going to?
Yes, you can go on IG, Facebook, you can go on Eventbrite. We also have a website. If you just put us in as a plus size only fashion show, we will come up on all of those platforms.
And so is there a message that you want to send out to the family out there who is listening, and they may be on the cusp because they're saying, okay, but I'm a size 6, and so it's no really sense in me going out there unless I have my mother or my auntie or my friend, and maybe I'll look and see something for them. How would a person that's of a smaller size, would they want to attend this event as well?
Well, the show is all inclusive. We welcome all shapes, sizes, color, creed. It doesn't matter. If you support us, we're looking for allies as well. We welcome everyone to come out to the show. There will be something for everybody, even though we are focusing on plus size fashion. There still will be things for, smaller individuals. We will have a pop-up shop an hour prior to the start of the show. So there'll be something for everyone.
Okay. And tell us, is there an idea in terms of the style of the fashions that will be presented, that we can get an idea maybe?
The styles of the fashions will be very couture. I'm going to say, let's see. I forgot the word I wanted to use. Eclectic. I will be styling all 3 sets of the fashion show. My fashion is very flamboyant, very eccentric.
Okay.
So you'll see some of those styles, and we may also have some classic styles as well. You just never know. You got to come to the show and check us out. You can also go and view my page on IG to kind of get an idea.
You say view your page?
Yes.
What is your page?
I am on IG as the Bag Lady. That is TheBagladie. So I have all sorts of highlights from previous fashion shows, different photo shoots that I've done. I'm also the thrift queen, so you'll see a lot of thrifted garments.
Okay.
Garments you would never know were thrifted unless I told you. This blazer I have on now is thrifted.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll see a lot of thrifted fashion on the runway.
That's a different term. That's a different term. First time I've heard that term used.
Well, secondhand clothing.
Okay. And so they're like new, brand new.
Gently used. A lot of times there are brand new garments that you can come across in the thrift stores. However, you never know what you'll find. It can be gently used. It can be brand new. It can be fast fashion.
Yes.
It can be vintage. It can be designer. So, you just never know.
You have something for everyone.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Now, is there any closing remarks that you would like to make to sell the idea that if I'm watching this program right now, what would hype me up to make me want to come to the show or talk to my friend who may be a little slow in terms of their fashions, or may not feel that the fashion world is there for them, or sometimes people just don't have a gift to know about fashions? What would you say to that group of folk?
I would say that fashion is you. It's what you want to look like, how you feel. When you come out to the show, you're going to see a variety of styles on different sizes. You get some inspiration to maybe go out and find, something similar to what was on the runway.
Okay.
We'll also be selling the garments that are on the runway. So if you see something that you like, just let us know. They will be for sale. It's just something that will be for everyone. We're going to have art, fashion. We have a drink sponsor. You Drink, I Make by Mary Harvin. She's going to be in the building doing drinks, and we're going to have food and raffles. And
When you say you drink, I make, that means that you can come up to that person and tell them to drink and she'll make it.
well, that's the name of her company.
Okay.
So she'll more than likely have a couple signature drinks on hand, and it's just going to be a great time. We're going
Okay.
to have some of everybody out. We have a couple pageant queens, plus size pageant queens that will be in the building.
Okay.
We have some local plus size individual socialites that will be in the building.
Okay.
People that are at the top of their game in makeup and hair and styling will be in the building. So
Will these particular folks, will they be there to give a message, or will they be there to advise folks how to make themselves pretty?
well, they'll more so be there to support the actual show. However, they're very approachable. You'll know who they are when you see them, because they'll be, stylish, and they'll be networking and different things like that. We may have a few people come up and speak and say a few things. But yeah, if you're looking for a stylist or anything like that, let me know. I can definitely point you in the right direction. I am a wardrobe stylist,
Okay.
and I specialize in plus size fashion. However, there will be other stylists in the house as well.
Now, will there be a selection in this particular show of different bags as well?
There will be bags included in some of the looks. That won't be the primary, I guess,
Focus on that.
focus. Yeah, but there will be some handbags in the show. Yes.
Okay, all right. It sounds like it'll be something for everyone, and family members and friends and associates and et cetera, and besties, friends can come out and
Yes.
and say, hey, let me step your game up. Look at that. I like that. All right, all right. Well, Stephanie, the bag lady, last closeout. Give them that address and how they can come and view this
Yes.
great fashion show that you're about to put together, and the information one more time, please.
Okay, so the name of the showcase is called A Plus Size Only Fashion Show. It's going to be out in Royal Oak at Day Space Studios on Dakota Road. It's size inclusive. We will be having featuring models of a size 12 and higher. And we love to see you out. We actually have a 30% off code right now. It's
Okay.
called PINK. All caps, PINK. You enter in that promo code and you receive 30% off today, I believe, up until Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, so we love to have you out. Show starts promptly at 6 p.m. The doors open at 5 p.m. with a pop-up shop, which will also be catering to plus-size individuals. However, if you are of a smaller frame, there will be things for you there as well.
Now, what date is this show again?
Saturday, October 19th, Sweetest Day weekend.
Sounds great. Sounds
Yes.
great. I want to thank you for stepping in and being here with the Talk Beat Jones today. Stephanie,
Yes.
the bag lady.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, yes. It has been such a wonderful idea that you have. It is a wonderful idea that you're stepping the game up for those who say, I can't find anything that looks good on me. You're taking care of it.
Yes.
Thank you,
absolutely.
Stephanie, for coming out to the Talk Beat
All right,
Jones.
thank
Before we go to
you.
commercial break, we want to let people know that the Talk Beat Jones, we are on the air every Wednesday from 10 a.m. until 11 a.m. You can also pick us up on a Sunday. That time is Sunday from 4 to 5 p.m. On 15.2. Also, let's remember, you can go to YouTube, TV33, on demand. And, of course, you go to videos, and you always pick up the latest when you go to videos, and you'll see Billy E. Jones. We'll be back after these commercial announcements.
You wouldn't have to go anywhere, because this is the Talk Beat Jones, and
Justice for Mario Willis. Truth. Facts. Evidence. Matter. Log into justiceformariowillis.com. Read for yourself.
Have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones.
This is the Talk Beat Jones, and I am Billy E. Jones, and I want to thank you for being with us today. Remember, the Talk Beat Jones, we're on the air every Wednesday from 10 a.m. until 11 a.m., and of course, we're on a Sunday from 4 to 5 p.m. on a 15.2. Don't forget, you can also go to that YouTube TV33 on demand, go to videos, you'll see the latest programs is placed in queue there, and you see Billy E. Jones. And again, I want to thank you for being with us as we want to speak to our friends from around the world as we're going through the process saying, this is how you understand entertaining talk. I have a wonderful, great guest today. Right about now, we're going to go to my guest, and I want my guest to come on and let him introduce himself with his name and what he's about, etc. This is my co-host today, and I want him to take over and work with me because this is a fantastic young man. All right, let's bring him on right about now, and go right ahead, my brother.
Thank you so much. I am Tula Cabone, a co-host. Well, I have a radio show here at WHPR 88.1 FM. I have two shows that I do. Monday, I do one called Real Talk with Tula Cabone. It's from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Then we do another show on Thursday. It's called Politics and Politics You Decide, with Tula Cabone and Brother Justin Barnett co-host. So I call myself the voice of the ancestors. And the reason I do that, because I feel like somehow people always have historical amnesia when it comes to black struggle.
Yes.
Or the black pain. You
Okay.
know, our pain is always ignored, or somehow, oh, y'all hurting too type advice. And so, you know, we have to remember what our ancestors, who was human trafficked over here against their will, and what they suffered here on the shores of America.
Can I interrupt you just a moment?
Sure.
You got the two shows, and by having the two shows, can you break down and then come back to where you are? Why do you have two shows?
Okay, so one show I focused, the first show, which is Real
Yeah.
Talk with Tula Cabone.
No, I want two. I want two shots.
I got the Real Talk with Tula Cabone. That show is about more of a culture identity issues. You know, I focus more on culture behavior, culture conduct. Politics and politics, I focus more on politics. So African Americans are those who may not understand politics, from the marginalized, which they call poor, and up can understand. I feel like the Politics and Politics show, You Decide, was a show that was necessary because marginalized African Americans do not understand true politics because civic lessons aren't taught in school. So we don't understand that.
Now, hold on just one moment. I want to see, Leo,
Yes,
are you able to listen and hear?
I'm listening, yes.
Can you hear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, we can leave him right there. All right, go ahead, my brother.
Okay, and so, you know, that's it, man. You know, I did it, and I felt like one show, because sometimes we can pile so much information up that people can't take the time to mentally digest it.
Yes.
So I split it up. So, you know, this day I'm talking about culture, this day I'm talking about politics in a way, again, that African Americans, particularly those who people call uninformed, can understand to be informed.
Right,
So
right.
that's why I did it that way.
Well, you know, today I'm so pleased and honored to have you here today.
Thank you so much.
And we have Mr. Leo Brazil out of Oakland, California. Of course, Mr. Leo Brazil is a two-time council person, an original Black Panther person, a retired defense attorney of 35 years, and more. But I wanted to, there was a video that was sent to us, you and I want to see if I could get you and Mr. Leo Brazil to kind of dialogue about the content of that particular video. Also, we also want to hear from you and Mr. Leo Brazil concerning reparations, and in the end we'll go into the elections, etc. But can you guys kind of flow with that information, and could you host it, my brother?
First of all, I want to say, Mr. Leo Brazil, it's an honor to be even in your presence, you and Mr. Billy Jones. Y'all have done so much for blazing the ancestor trail of righteousness, meaning speaking for the ancestors in the way that you have. So I want to say thank you, but I just want to say, when I listened to that video, brother, I had to listen to that video 4 or 5 days straight because I was listening to literally scholars. And one thing that I specifically liked, one of many things I like, is when the brother broke down the difference between socialism and Marxism. I thought that was very important. Can you elaborate on that for me, Mr. Brother
Leo Brazil?
Leo Brazil.
Well,
Can you bring him up a little?
sent you that because as I talked to
Beautiful.
you, we've only talked briefly. I sensed that, that you needed to get that distinction that we have between socialism and Marxism, because from my experience in the 60s with the Panthers and so forth, that is what partially destroyed the Panthers, is that we had these brothers out there with this Afrocentric point of view. That is, we are community-oriented, as you are, with all of the things you're trying to do. You're trying to uplift the community. It's not an I situation, it's a we situation. So we come out of that communal background in Africa. That's a part of us that's in our blood, no matter where we're coming from, the Caribbean or from, as you distinguish, African Americans. We have that African connection for community. And so when we got going in the Panther Party, because we were concerned about the police oppression and so forth that was going on in Oakland,
You're talking about Huey. You're talking about Huey and Bobby.
California is right there next to us, and so the University of California was there, and we had a lot of intellectual flow coming in from Berkeley, California. I mean, from UC Berkeley into Merritt College, where we started in Oakland. And to make it short and succinct, Marxists want to talk about class struggle. So that's their whole thing, is to talk about class struggle. But you and I are brothers that are race men. We want to talk about the racial struggle. That's our particular struggle. The class struggle is involving, Marx and his European materialism. And what we wanted to talk about from our culture is African spiritualism.
Right.
And so therein is the distinction. Class or race, which one is most important in your analysis?
Oh, my analysis is definitely race. We have always been at the bottom of the class when it comes to how America has treated African Americans. Now, they might graduate some of us to the 3rd, 4th grade, meaning that, the bourgeois give you something off the table, but they ain't gonna never let you graduate to really be a power structure in a way that you own a conglomerate of something that you can share with the community abroad. It's never been like that. And for us who chase that dream, we always find out that they always find a way to pull you back by either charging you with taxes or said you did something 40 years ago. Ask Bill Cosby, right? It's strictly about race, and I feel that a lot of our people fail to clearly understand that systematically America was built on a concept of black racism, right? And they needed that in order to perpetuate the demonization of African Americans or Africans. They had human trafficking put in slavery. You cannot make somebody look good that you got a hostage, you know, because people going to start questioning your humanity. So the whole thing was to make us feel like, or feel and think that we was useless, and to project that image out to other people. And that's what's going on even to this day. They see a group of brothers, man, and you can be old or young, they wonder what you doing in this neighborhood, particularly in certain parts of Michigan. So, Mr. Brewer, to answer your question, it's definitely about race. It's not about class whatsoever. Because historically, we can see, no matter how much money you got, and you black, you getting it. But if you white, you white, you right. And I mean, that's just how the justice system is. When you can have 31 felonies and still run for president, you tell me what it's about. You know what I'm saying?
All right. And Mr. Leo Brazil.
Yes, sir.
All right. You have, I just want to make sure we keep it constant where we can hear you and that you can hear the conversation. And also, Mr. Sir, my guest host, my host that's hosting the program today, would you please, once again, when you come back from time to time, would you give them your name so that they can keep up with you? And also, Mr. Leo Brazil, when you come back on from time to time, would you also bring in your name so the audience will be able to follow and flow the conversation, names, and the person that's speaking, okay?
No problem. Tula Cabone. My name is Tula Cabone.
Okay. And once again, they can always contact and watch your shows on what time and what day, sir?
That's every Monday at 5 o'clock p.m. WHPR 88.1 FM. You can go in. What I do like about this live stream is www.fm881whpr.com. And you can watch the same. You can watch my other second show, Politics or Politics You Decide, Thursday. www.fm881fm WHPR.com. That's 5 to 6 as well.
All right. Now, could I get your interpretation of that video, sir?
Scholarly. I just could take that information they gave me and I could put it in a book. I felt like I was sitting at the foot of kings that was really imparting information that they were sharing with me. Because I work out every morning. A lot of people don't know that. So when I do, I listen to informative information.
Yes.
And that video, I looked up, I was on 40 minutes of cardio when I realized, because I was so transfixed on what the brothers were saying. It was just so much said, and I like what the brother said as well.
Yes.
Mr. B, I got to mention this. The brother said that we are transfixed on Kamala Harris, whether she black or white. And the brother said, well, look at all of us, we all different colors. So we have never been a people that's caught up on that. And I said, man, that's really legitimately a powerful statement. So I just got to come in and say that.
And with that, this is like a sidebar situation that I'd like to understand is why would a person like Janet Jackson make a statement concerning the vice president in terms of who she represents, who she is? I don't quite understand that when we know that any person that is of blackness, if you have one drop of blackness in any race, you're considered black.
I would defer that to Mr. Leo Brazil. He's more quiet. I got my opinion, but I want to piggyback off what he said. He's definitely the scholarly person on that analogy.
Mr. Leo Brazil, did you hear about that conversation real quick about Janet saying that something about the father, grandfather, something big, so she's white?
I got a code 5, but
okay.
Okay.
Let me say to Tula, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I sent you that tape because I knew that you would understand what these brothers are saying, and you would understand the diversity of our community. But I wanted you to see these elders. I think you said you were about 50 years old. Most of these men that were on there were in their 70s. So, and I'm in my 80s. So we got 20 years on you, you see. So
Yes,
we're so
sir.
happy to see brothers like you as
Yes, sir.
knowledgeable as you and have your perspective of rise rising from the grassroots, as you call them, the marginalized people.
Absolutely.
And so we have always had this argument between the Marxists and the socialists. Socialism is the thing that we could identify with as Africans because, like I said, it's community. And that's all it means, is that the community has to benefit. And the government is simply a tool or an instrument that we use to bring benefits to the community. So when these brothers are explaining to you that we have to learn about this government that we're in here and how it works, and especially at the local level, because that's where the resources come down to the local level, but we don't know anything about being on the planning commission or the port commission or all the various commissions that are in government. We only know about city council or mayor or those offices, but we don't realize that the policy is being made and being carried out, and the resources are being distributed by these voluntary commissions where you're not getting paid, you're not running for it, but you're being appointed to it. So if you picked up on that, that was good enough that we had the resources. Now, on the ideological side, these are all scholars that have been out there for 50 years and writing all of the great books on our people, because they focus on our people because they're race men. And we don't know about them because the white academy does not acknowledge them as being legitimate. They want you coming from a Eurocentric point of view, then they will publish you. But otherwise, you can't get published if, like these brothers. So they had to start their own publishing establishments and everything to put the word out. And so I just want to lay on you one last thing. It's race, class, and caste, C-A-S-T-E. In our analysis, we have to bring in those three things. Race is most important for you and I and for these gentlemen that were on the tape. But the class thing is still out there, meaning that our Marxist brothers still going to argue class against us, and have that argument. But we push that in the background and go more to race and caste. Caste meaning that you are directly hitting on America, and that is white supremacy. And the supreme class is white. Caste is white. And you will never, ever be able to break into a caste. That's why Isabel Wilkerson's book and Ava DuVernay's movie Origins, those are dealing with the issue of caste. And so we have to always intertwine that. The question is, can you ever break into the white caste? No. This brother in North Carolina thinks that he's a white man.
Right.
He tried to break into that caste, and he will never be accepted into the caste, because then white supremacy is gone, and we're all then at an equal level.
I think, I absolutely profound response, and I agree with you. More so, I recall when the brother broke down how socialism is already in effect in America, because socialism is when the government come in and assist you, and we pay for the police and the fire department. So when he said that, I was like, socialism is already here. We deal with Medicaid, we deal with Social Security, we deal with EBT. And the reason I like that, good brother, because people felt, especially marginalized black people, right? We fail to understand the meaning of words. We think when something sound big is really important, right? Or we fail to understand that when they're using these words, they're trying to weaponize our mind to discredit people they don't like. They'll say, well, Kamala Harris is a socialist, or she's a Marxist. Okay, well, what is a Marxist? Marxists deal with class, as you broke down. What's a socialist? A socialist is a government that contributes to the people. We're already in socialism. We've been in socialism since America was created, right? If you want to look at it, the laws have been used to deny African Americans an equal opportunity in America, right? Is that a form of socialism, or is it communism, right? However you want to put it, it's one of them isms that we have been taught to stay away from, they have been taught to embrace. And what they attempt to do is to bamboozle us to not understanding the meaning of words. So when I heard you brothers break that down, I'm like, oh wow, that's powerful. That's powerful.
Well, you see, the slavery was a form of socialism in the sense that it was the government of the United States helping the white supremacists in their institution of slavery.
Facts.
The slavery could not have functioned if government went against it. That's what that got rid of it, was the government, you see.
Yes.
But as long as government was providing the slaveholders with this governmental assistance in every way, whether it is transportation systems that move the slaves or whatever, the government was participating as a tool for slavery. And that's why we are on the issue of reparations, because reparations is a action, cause of action against the government of the United States, which denied us our human and constitutional rights.
Well, I mean, I just want to comment, if I may, about what you said. So socialism is good when it's used in the benefit of oppression of black people, particularly during slavery. Or socialism is good when those who calling somebody a socialist benefits from socialism. But when it comes to black people trying to be a part of what they call democracy, they throw these labels out, and they stick them on us, and we don't even know the meaning of it. You know, so I and particularly slavery. Slavery, as you said, Mr. Leo Brazil, Brother Leo Brazil, was definitely a socialist system. And some of us still suffer from that socialist mentality, meaning a plantational mindset that was injected in us. We still have that I call it psychological voodoo, right? It's magic. We don't even see it, but it affects our mind, right? And we still suffer from that. So, you know, that socialist thing they laid down back then is psychologically still in some of us now. So I definitely agree with that, good brother. Definitely agree with that.
So government benefits are supposed to be equally distributed. If you have any kind of government service or benefit, it must be equally distributed among all citizens.
That's interesting.
And so when we were not getting what we were supposed to get out of that institution, in fact, we were being oppressed by that institution, the government was outside the constitutional boundaries with respect to the black community, and therefore was creating a damage that must be repaired.
Thanks.
If you run a stop sign there in Detroit and hit a car, you have to repair that car, the damage that you've done. And so we're trying to establish through the reparation movement that the government damaged us through slavery, Jim Crow, discrimination, all the things up to this day the government has against us. So we now have to have a cause of action against the government. Problem is, in the Constitution, you cannot sue the government unless they give you permission to do it. And so that's why the legislative response is necessary, because the courts cannot give you anything because you don't have standing. So John Conyers put in a bill, H.R. 40, to try to break into that legislative need that we have been pushing for the longest. But now that states like California and all of the big entities out there are focusing on reparation, they're trying to, no, we don't want no talk about that. We don't want no discussions about that. All kinds of reparation is still a bad word in a lot of the black community.
Well, let's go even further, because I want to talk about, I'm glad you brought up reparations. You know, call me Reparation Tula. I'm all about that. But so let's talk about what happened September the 3rd, 2024 in California, when the Black Caucus refused to bring the bill for a vote on the floor. You got a Democratic House, you got a Democratic Senate, and you got a Democratic governor. I was seeing when they refused to do that. And what some people said, that Gavin Newsom, which is the governor of California right now, didn't want that bill signed because he has aspirations to run for president. And one thing that would have got him the white backlash is you signed that bill for reparations. So the Black Caucus said, and I'm just saying what the image is, you can tell me if it's true or not, they became inherent bootlickers and said, well, we're going to make sure that you don't even worry about it, we got you. We ain't even going to put it on the floor for a vote. And what they said was, well, we didn't have enough votes to pass it, or he's going to veto it. Even if he vetoed it, from my understanding, because they had a Senate that was Democrat, they could have overrode a veto, which would allow the law to go in effect anyway. But they refused to do that. So my question is, good brother, how did you feel about that betrayal by the Black Caucus, and or do you feel it was a betrayal by them?
No, it was not a betrayal. Again, it's a misunderstanding of the political situation. What you said was Gavin Newsom's interest in this was to not have the white backlash against his presidential aspirations. He has no presidential aspirations. Kamala is running for president. They are from the same state. So he has no presidential aspirations. So why then would the Black Caucus then not just put that thing on the table? The thing that you said that Gavin was worried about, the white backlash, if you bring up this issue of reparations right now, which is the devil to white people, there will be a backlash. And who is it going to backlash on? Kamala. So they said to the caucus, let's get the election out of the way, get her elected.
Okay.
And then come back with the bill and put it on the table in the next session. And they went for that as a better deal than trying to push it through just to get everybody to know that the reparations issue passed in California and the governor wouldn't sign it because of his political aspirations. So you see all the names you call them people, you immediately start categorizing them as sellouts and so on and so forth. They certainly owe us an explanation as to what I'm saying right now. But again, we have to be very sensitive about jumping on each other, because if you start in this legislative process of offending people personally, then they become harder to bring around on the vote that you're going to need them on.
Well, I thank you for educating me in that aspect, and I humbly so apologize. You know, I'm a big person. I ain't got no issue with that. But we can only act on what we know, right? And
right.
we don't know this.
But make sure that we know everything we know before we start name calling.
In fact, I agree with you, good brother. I humbly agree with you. But what I'm saying is, I can only act on what I've seen, and nobody has openly stated what you. Of course, you're on the inside track. You know that, hey, man, you know, we feel that if the reparations would have been passed in California, that it would have harmed her presidency, and she would have got what they call a white backlash. So some.
And you know, and that's the purpose of this program, because you see, when a person say, well, you don't know and you can't name, well, if we see what we see, we can only act on what we are informed of. And you see, by you having the ability, Mr. Leo Brazil, to explain and to break it down, that's what we're talking about to our world audience, is that this is the inside track of what you see that you don't understand. That's what the beauty of the Talk Beat Jones is about. And that's part of the purpose of having you two guys have this dialogue to break this down so that the world can understand what is actually being said.
And my question is, why didn't the Black Caucus, somebody on the Black Caucus, have some type of press conference and explain the strategy? I don't think more so people would.
No. You don't want to explain the strategy right now. You're right there. See, if you start to put your strategy out there, the counter forces are going to start putting their strategy together. You see, they're going to take the issue and start pumping it out into the press and everything.
Okay, gotcha.
Now, they could have handled it a whole lot better. But again, as independent legislators, they have their own particular interests within their caucus that they're trying to cover. Just not trying to cover just Gavin and Kamala. They're trying to cover the various things that they have in their caucus. So we have to give them a little leeway. Let's say we want an explanation, and they know we need an explanation because they're outraged. The senator who put it all together had it all ready to go. He was at the convention in Chicago, and they didn't even call him to tell them that they were going to do what they did, and he was shocked
Right.
when he heard about it, and he was outraged like you and I were outraged.
Right.
But after because I'm a member of the Alameda County Reparations Commission, and I'm a 50-year politician, so I have insides with Willie Brown and all of the powers that be in California here, so I can pick up the phone and say, man, what's going on? And then they start breaking it down, say, well,
And that's what we're talking about, Leo.
Their mistake was they wouldn't even talk to anybody. They just disappeared.
Yeah.
And so the people that were standing out in the hall wanted them to come out and have a press conference, and they didn't. And maybe that was tactically wrong or whatever, but strategically it was a good move to keep that issue suppressed until we can get past this election. Otherwise, Kamala would be discussing reparations right now, and a whole lot of folks would be mad. She got to stay on that freedom, on that opportunity, and that positivity, three tips that she is pushing through her campaign.
I just want to say you're absolutely correct because you know why? And I say that with respect, of course, not egotistical, but because they already call her Reparation Kamala because she the one sponsored the bill when she was in the Senate for reparations. And I have to remind African Americans of that. I said she sponsored a bill in the Senate for reparations. So if they would have passed that, so from a strategic aspect, if they would have passed that, and she's from California. Come on, it would have been a no-brainer what you're saying. So I truly, humbly thank you for sharing that insight with me so I can clean up the record on my show about what was said. So I appreciate that, Mr. Brazil. I truly appreciate that.
And I appreciate you asking the question. You know why? Because I've been at this for 50 years. 1971 is when I started on the reparations issue. And nobody, I call it raising the issue, running it up the flagpole. Then you see who salutes, right?
Absolutely.
Well, Brother Conyers ran it up the flagpole and nobody saluted. But for 12 years, every 2 years in every congressional session, he would wait until the bill number 39 was in the hopper. Then he would go down and drop his bill in so that he would get AB 40 every time.
That's right.
Mr. Leo Brazil.
Because 40 represents that 40 acres and a mule. That's our meme. That's our sign.
Mr.
And
Leo
every
Brazil.
time we run it up the flag,
Bring him
nobody would salute, or one or two black people would salute.
Mr. Leo Brazil.
Now,
Bring him down.
the issue is
Mr. Leo Brazil, we are now closing out, and so we've got to change and let him close out. You take it, brother.
Okay, I will be having a show tomorrow at 11 o'clock where I ask Mr. Leo Brazil if he's available to appear, and we will have we're going to have Brother Jones.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be on tomorrow at 11. We'll continue this conversation. I really enjoy this. I'm a baby at the foot of knowledge, and I'm just enjoying the conversation. I'm around giants, and this is what wisdom from older African Americans is supposed to be about. Not on the stage, booty shaking and pop dancing. We're supposed to be giving stuff to our people that can fulfill their spirit, and we can be the torch that move forward for our ancestors because we owe them. And what I got a shirt made. I'm gonna say this, then I'm gonna let Brother John. I got a shirt made, and the shirt says, "I want to make my mama proud. I don't want to let my mama down." And when I wore that shirt last week, what I said to everybody was, when you look in the mirror, can you say that you're making your mama proud? Can you say that you're making your ancestors proud? And if you cannot say that, you need to start rethinking your future, your behavior. One thing we don't have a lot of is time. And if you squander it, you squander time, time gonna squander you. We got to always remember that.
Brother, you got another minute.
let me say, Billy, very quickly that I'm proud of you Tula. See, that's what I'm talking
Bring
about.
'em up more.
As an elder, the knowledge that you have and accumulated and the inquisitiveness that you have in running this flag up the pole, I am so proud of that, boy. If we'd had that 50 years ago, I would have thought maybe reparation would be here by now.
Thank
But I know that we have to wait, and we have to wait on the Lord. But the Lord is keeping the youngsters coming
All right, Leo.
behind us, and I
We got
would
it.
say God bless you, brother.
All right,
Leo,
thank you.
Wait a minute, Mr. Leo Brazil. You see, this is the flow that we're talking about. Young and older working together, family.
Facts.
And that's how we can see how we can put out the proper conversation that's entertaining and informative.
Facts.
And that's what this was about. It's not about just sitting up here just rambling and talking and just being entertained. What I did with the Janet Jackson, that was TMZ style. So again, you heard it for real. We're going to hear more of this. Sir, can you come back again next week?
No, I can do my show tomorrow at 11.
Yes. Can you come back to Talk B. Jones the following
Yeah, I sure can. Yes, sir.
Because Leo, can you come back the following week?
Always.
All right, so we're going to continue with this, breaking it down like nobody else. Family, I am Billy E. Jones. Close out, brother, with your last.
I always say, I'm going to use the words of Fred Hampton and the Black Panthers. Power to the people, power to the people, power to the people.
And the power right about now, Talk B. Jones. Billy E. Jones, again, every Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 11, on a Sunday from 4 to 5 on 15.2, YouTube, TV33 on demand. We love you. And again, just keep the respect for yourself, and you will respect others.
Facts.
Talk B. Jones, I am that guy. Billy E. Jones.
Yes,
Take
sir.
care. Bye now.
All right.
You wouldn't have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones and I.